just wanted to see if I could get it. It's just normal USB. Oh shit. Yeah, it's on this side.
guys want to come over here and I can talk to you about how it all works? Sort of shouting to the back of the room, and you can have a look at. Yeah, you can have a look at everything. So I'm not going to do the prepared PowerPoint that I've done earlier. So this is the theremin. The theremin is an unusual musical instrument in that it is played without touching. You basically, your body, your arms, the whole persona interferes with two electromagnetic fields around the instrument. So you can actually play it from the front or the back. So if you're left-handed, you can actually spin it around. I happen to be left-handed, but I do everything like that. It was invented in 1919 by a Russian scientist called Lev Sergeyev Theremin, which has been anglicised to Leon Theremin. He, in 1919, him and a load of Russian scientists were experimenting with proximity effect. That's something we take for granted now. You walk up to a door and it opens, lights come on when you go into a room, all that sort of thing. It all goes back to this research. And Leon Theremin was investigating the density of gas in the air with a piece of equipment that made a noise. Now, it just happened that Leon Theremin was also a cello player. So as he moved around the room, he noticed the sound changing and took that equipment and turned it into the theremin. I do have pictures of Leon and some audio of Leon. I was telling these guys earlier, can you imagine that not only did Leon invent the instrument, he had to invent how you played it, because it never existed before he created it. And one of the things he did, I told these guys earlier, was had to demonstrate it to the leader of Russia, Lenin. Now, to show someone how to play this thing, you need to stand behind them and hold their arms and do this. So if you can imagine a 24, 25-year-old Russian scientist hanging onto the arms of the leader of his country and trying not to get shot. Eventually, he went to Europe, took the instrument around Europe, and eventually in 1924 went to America. And the RCA company, if anybody's heard of RCA, they used to make valves and taper tellies and stuff like that. They patented the instrument, hoping to get one in every home. But it's not that easy to play. And that didn't happen. So not a lot happened with the theremin since then, apart from a couple of very amazing people. One was called Clara Rockmore. Now this instrument is called a Clara Vox. There's a direct link. Clara Rockmore was a violin player, and at an early age she developed problems with arthritic arms and stuff. So she moved on to the theremin and became the goddess of theremin playing, who is still revered today. You'll find, if you go home and go on YouTube, look for Clara Rockmore, you'll find her playing a piece of music called The Swan from the Carnival of the Animals, and she barely moves and yet produces this incredible noise. So how do you play it? You interfere with these electromagnetic fields. So basically, the closer you are to that antenna, the higher the node, and the further away, the lower. And this is volume, so you develop a technique of playing. Clara Rockmore's techniques, you'd all like to be a bit of audience participation. Put your right hand like a fist, okay, and join your thumb and forefinger, and then gradually uncurl your fingers. This is the technique she developed, and basically what she did was, let me see it better that way, from there to there was an octave. And by moving very gradually, you could create the notes in between. Okay, and that was a technique a lot of top players use. She barely moves her knuckles. It's amazing if you have a look at it. I can't do that. Too old and my hands don't work very well. So this instrument, sorry, I've jumped a bit. How do you pronounce that? Come on, let's test everybody.
Moog.
You win the Star Prize. Yeah.
No, internet.
Yeah. Bob Moog got hold of the designs for the theremin in about 1949. And he started making them. And he built kits and he built complete theremins, and doing all that paid for his college education. and he was playing theremins and repairing theremins right up until his death. Clara Rockmore, he worked on her theremin repeatedly. She lived in New York. The factory for Moog is Asheville. Sadly, it's been taken over by a Japanese company called In Music. Sorry, who have, instead of it being an employee-owned company, it's been taken over. But so this was brought out in 2019 as a 100th anniversary edition. So this is very different to the original theremins in a number of ways. Original theremins were, it's the bit that gets science-ish, a heterodyne design. They had 2 oscillators and they were working at radio frequencies. The first oscillator was fixed and the second changed as you moved nearer the pitch, and so blend 2 oscillators together, a nicer sound than 1 oscillator. This has got some of the original design in it and then some. This has actually got a completely analog side and a analog/digital side. When you use what's called modern mode, it stores all the settings digitally but uses analog circuitry. So you have in it 2 oscillators, and each oscillator's got sine, square, sawtooth and wavetables. So you can create a huge variety of sounds from presets. You can get an app. Let me see if I can. Oh, there we go. Hang on. I'll tell you what I will do. This is Leon theremin. Now you can see there the theremins were massive boxes of tricks because they were full of valves, coils, because they use a lot of radio frequencies. They were inherently unstable. They made the mini Moog look stable. They just drifted, and so he developed a technique. You can see there in the early days, he's up here. Okay, that's a very uncomfortable position to be in. So eventually, techniques developed where you were more like that. So you set the instrument for your height, so it's comfortable, and basically from there to your body, you can set how many octaves that is by tuning the instrument. This box of tricks, so let me just show you. Hang on. The big triangular things at the back are loudspeakers. This lady Clara Rockmore would go on tour with something like that and carry it in and out of huge venues like Carnegie Hall and stuff like that, and Bob would repair it in her house. So, through the wonders of the internet, this is Leon theremin playing his own invention. And of course you have to wear a dinner suit to play the theremin. I forgot mine. So if you watch the technique, and by shaking your hand you get the vibrato. That's not me having drunk much alcohol, I promise. It's amazing that we've got this available. So we're going to move on because I don't know. I guess we've got so much time. So that's
Another question. What happened to that guy? His life generally?
he lived into his 90s.
Oh yeah.
And he was a very kind, generous person. There's a wonderful lady called Lydia Kavanagh who is in the top 4 theremin players in the world. I've got to know her, and she was taught by Leon theremin as an 8 or 9-year-old girl, and he used to walk. There's obviously a lot of housing in Russia was mid-rise blocks of flats, and he would walk up the stairs to each of the theremin. There's pictures of him. Let me just skip through it. Hang on. So the theremin did evolve with Bob, and that's Bob with Leon theremin. So everybody in the theremin world connected over time and space. It's quite funny. The Moog did bring out something called the theremin, which is a very portable theremin. I even took mine camping. You can still get these, they're about 400 quid. They are all digital. So people have referred to them as a gesture-controlled synthesizer. It's effectively an animal inside a box, but it has a loudspeaker, it has a headphone socket, it has CV, and it has a USB socket. Unfortunately, on the MIDI front, it doesn't produce note information. But what you can do is funky things like route it to, say, the envelope, and do an arpeggiator and do shit like that, sorry, stuff like that. So then there was a theremin editor, which was a downloadable app, and that gave you the option to create your own sounds. So 100 years of the theremin hat comes the Clara box. This is Clara Rockmore, and there she is with Leon Theremin. The rumour is that he asked her to marry him, but she refused. And then the people at the top, the young girl in white is Lydia Kavanagh. So she's with Clara Rockmore and Bob Moe. So all of these people are connected. So for me to play with Lydia and improvise with her and meet her is just unbelievable, you know, to connect through history. This is Clara Rockmore. Now again, look at the right hand and how she plays. Very different to Leon's technique. And it's highly likely Bob worked on that theremin. She created a book which you can actually download, which teaches you how to play the theremin. And she talks about using your hand as a feather, not a hammer. And you can see how subtle. So this is the Clara box, and you can see the front panel here, and the back, a bit easier than this. So on the front panel, the top two control, volume antenna, pitch antenna, to help you tune the instrument. So you can actually tune how many octaves you've got between your body and the antenna, and the response of the volume antenna. Then you've got the cheat knob, that if you use it, you get shot, which is quantized. So you can actually, so I've got to smooth this hand out, turn up the quantize, you get individual notes. So it guesses where your fingers are. I don't use that. It's also got a mute switch. Early theremins didn't have a mute switch, so you would have to drape your cable over the volume antenna. Okay? But you'll see there on the back panel, it's got MIDI in and out, the infamous 5-pin bin, and a USB. It's got CV out and it's got CV in. So I use an expression pedal down here to control how much delay I get. And that's the great thing with this, it has an inbuilt to their delay. It's got a bucket brigade delay line. It's gorgeous. Then you've got filters, brightness and wave, so you can mess around with the wave shape, use a filter and all that to create your own sounds. Then you've got an app. Let me just, hang on. It's doing the usual, going off on its own. So let's have a look. There we go. So you've got an app that you can use. You download this for free. You see there the MIDI settings, so you can set channels, whatever. But what you can do is you can either have pitch bend or chromatic. So you bend one note or play the scale, but it's quantized. unfortunately I haven't had time to set that bit up. What you've also got, these are all the controls. So you've got the response times and so on of the antenna. And down here you've got the 2 oscillators. And you see there you've got sines, triangle, sawtooth, and then this wave table, and then 8 wave tables on each oscillator. And then on the second oscillator, you've got a noise option. Okay? All of these you can store. You can either store them here, and when you download this, let me go down a bit further. You've got filtering and you've got the delay settings. When you get this, you've got the brilliant presets, for those of you who love presets. Okay? And then you can create your own, and then you can share those with other players if you want. So if I go back to here, what I've done is on the front panel of here, there's a switch called time graph, which is like a memory switch, and it's got 6 positions. So over the years, I've kind of honed in on 6 different sounds that I like to use. So this is a sound with a lot of delay. And a fair amount of feedback. This is a standard theremin sound.
Is that what they use on the clangers?
That was a penny whistle. Well, say, we could have a quick quiz in a bit about where theremins were heard, and which are theremins and which aren't.
You get saw can sound like a theremin as well.
Yeah, I mean the one that everybody goes on about is Good Vibrations. That was going to be a theremin, Beach Boys, but it isn't, because they couldn't play it. They couldn't repeat it live, so they had a piece of wood with some plastic on it that they had marks on, and they could go. The Star Trek isn't a theremin. What is the theme tune to Midsummer Murders.
Really?
Yeah, and has anybody seen the David Cronenberg Existence?
Oh, yeah.
That's got theremin in it, played by Lydia Kavanagh.
Oh,
She was actually very pregnant at the time, and she didn't see the film, they just told her what to do.
Probably not one to watch when you're
No, probably not.
Yeah, well, no, not when you're pregnant. So I've got that set. Then I've got this.
The Cuckoo's Nest?
No, it's the one that is very
Is that
famous for
Saw,
theremin.
yeah?
Is the Hitchcock movies Spellbound.
Yeah.
The Day the Earth Stood Still with Michael Rennie, the original black and white, is theremin. What is it? Plateau Barada Nixon. There's a couple of other films that are theremin that Lydia's played on. And recently, a few years back, there was a film called The Electric Life of Louis Wayne. And that was a guy who drew cats. And it starred Benedict Cumberbatch, and she did the theremin. So this is using the noise filter to create wind sound. There's some delay on it. Then I've got this one, which is, I call it dolphins. And I've got a switch on here, which is a register, so I can increase the number of octaves I've got between my body. So I can very quickly change pitch without having to move my hand a long way. So each time I turn that, I'm losing an octave. Then my favourite, that's got a massively long delay with lots of feedback, so I kind of use that as a loop. Then I've got a slightly synthy. So it's not very different to the original sound, but it's just got a bit of a metallic twang to it. The wind sound is great. Effects with theremins are a bit weird. phasing and flanging don't really do a lot. But things like tremolo and obviously delay and a loop pedal. So I use sort of tremolo-y thing. I've got a loop pedal, which I think has got something left in from the weekend. Yeah. So sometimes I'll layer stuff in the loop pedal and then so I tend to do ambient stuff. I work a lot with Pete Challoner, I don't know if anybody knows Pete. Him and I met a couple of years ago when he did Diode, which was an event he had in the Bonington Theatre in Arnold. And we improvised together at Applewick Pumping Station with the beam engine chugging away in the background. So we're looking for lots of opportunities. So the way I work now, I've skipped through a hell of a lot, is so I pick and choose the sounds. So this is like, for me, my box of ingredients. Okay? And then what I do with Ableton is I run through, I don't know if anybody's familiar, I'm sure some of you might be. Ableton has, it's decided, I don't know what's gone on. Lots of loops and sounds and all sorts of stuff. So I go through every now and again and go, I like that noise, I'll maybe with that, maybe that. And I use those as backdrops. The reason I do that, when you're learning to play the Clarivox or the theremin, they always say hum or sing. And the problem is if you can't sing and hum, you're a bit lost. So you can try and play a piano. Well, what you want is a constant sound, so you can tune to it. So I started playing along with some of my fave stuff like Pink Floyd and Tangerine Dream. I did a great version of One of These Days You'll Cut Me Into Little Pieces by using a lot of delay and stuff on it. So what I do now is I use this box of tricks with the 6 sounds, and then on here I select 8 loops that I quite like, and then I just randomly join it all together and improvise. The piece I'm going to very quickly play in a minute, but I'll give you some time to ask questions. This is loosely based on Stephen Biko, the Biko track by Peter Gabriel, which is a track that moved me immensely. But something I did recently that, if there's time, I can also do later. I did a gallery opening for Greenpeace at the the Surface Gallery at Bottom Cartman Hill opposite Peggers. And there was an amazing array of artwork, real challenging stuff, but on the floor, just leaning up, was a piece of cardboard about that big. And it just said on it, "There is no planet B." And that, I couldn't get that phrase out of my head ever since that. So I thought, I've got to do something. So I got my family members, my grandkids, my mother-in-law, everybody to say, "There is no planet B." And then I built a track around loops in Ableton, audio clips, and this improvising, and created a piece of music called "There Is No Planet B." If there's time, I'll do it later. Any questions? Because I've probably talked too much as it is.
Can you load your own wavetables into it? Or are they
Can you what, sorry?
Can you load your own wavetables into it? Or are they fixed?
I've never done it.
Yeah.
The thing I am told you can do is, I don't know why you want to do it, but you can play it from a keyboard.
Yeah,
You can send MIDI into it.
yeah.
Why you want to do that, I don't know. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure you probably could.
Yeah.
I just don't know how,
Yeah.
because it's like, the learning curve is like that.
Yeah.
You know, you tweak something and, yeah. I don't understand, personally I don't understand wavetables, so I've used some of the presets and goofed around with them.
Yeah.
There is another theremin called a DLEV, and that uses wavetables entirely,
Yeah.
and it's open source,
Yeah.
so you can, but they're almost impossible to get hold of. The guy who builds them, he builds them every couple of months, and there's a waiting list of about a year, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to buy a theremin at the moment, cheapest option is a company called Gaudi Labs, do a theremin based on an Arduino processor. that's that size of the phone, and it's about 100 quid. So it's a good way to get started. They do have MIDI and CV, but all theremins, like a lot of early analog synthesizers, are very temperamental. They don't like each other. It's very hard to get more than 1 or 2 theremins in a room playing together. We managed to get 29 playing together in Copenhagen, all the way around the edge of the room. But even then, things weird shit would happen. Suddenly you'd play one and it would play the other one. You know, stuff like that. Sorry, any other questions?
Sorry, so Theremin was the original company, and
Well, no, it wasn't, as far as I know, the original company that patented it was RCA, which was in the 20s, 24, 25.
And then, so what year were Moog?
About 1949, Bob started to build them and got the designs from. I mean, that's the weird thing is, you know, we talk about the Iron Curtain or this lot. You know, Bob Moog wrote to Leon Theremin and got the designs for a theremin. You know, the communication was amazing, and they got to know each other. The one weird stuff about Leon Theremin is he was accused of being a spy because he was asked or made or gunpoint to build something called the Thing, and it was a wooden oval sculpture with the American eagle on it, and it sat in the Russian embassy in St. Petersburg, I think it was, listening in to all the Americans' conversations. So it was one of the early booking devices, and they only found out when it fell off the wall and broke. Leon also attempted to make television, so there's a lot of stuff being done by Russia that we never heard of. The problem with theremins is, because there's a lot of RF and stuff, there's coils which are often handmade. This particular instrument suffered a lot because of COVID. As it came out in 2019, 2020. I ordered mine. It took about 5 or 6 months to come from the States. This is serial number 99. A friend of mine, he had serial number 100 and his didn't work. It was terrible, and he sent it back. They extended the warranty on anything below a couple of hundred serial numbers. Whether it was down to not being able to get components, poor quality control, nobody knows, but eventually they've settled down. Now, as I say, there's the Open Theremin by ID Labs, the D-Lev, go on the waiting list and hope for the best. The Theremin, which is this white cigar-shaped synthesizer gizmo. Occasionally there's a thing called an ether wave, which is a flat box about that long, area one side, antenna coming up.
That's Mezzo.
Sorry?
Have you heard of Mezzo?
I haven't, no.
Oh right, so he uses a theremin. He's a keyboard player with a theremin, but he's got his theremin routed through his Moog. His Moog, sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm going to
yeah, he gets it growling.
Yeah.
So his growls.
I can get this to talk MIDI-wise to apps on the iPad, but it's inherently annoying because it works sometimes and it doesn't work the other time. So I'm hoping to get an analog synth like a grandmother or a Mother 32 and use the CV. Yeah, you've got CVA, you've got gate, you've got a lot of ways to connect it. It's just something I haven't yet had a chance to do because it's money.
How did you get into it anyway?
Oh dear. Yeah. 2018, 2019.
Okay, yeah.
The guy came to Public Pumping Station, which is where I'm a volunteer. We had a sci-fi event that I organised, and a guy called Charlie Draper came along. You find his videos on YouTube, and he also appeared on the TV advert of all things playing theremin. And he's a really nice guy, and he played quite an old theremin, it looked like the RCA things. And I met him, chatted to him, and loved the sound. So I did a load of research, went all over the interweb. And then we stumbled into PMT, which is now gone, and there was a theremin. And so I went up and played it. And just made great sounds, almost instinctively. And my better half said, if you want, you can, I'll put you some money towards it for your birthday. So I bought the theremin, and it's an annoying little piece of technology because it has so many menus that are almost impossible to understand. So I dug deep into it, demystified it, and created a Facebook group called Theremin People. Allegedly, I'm the expert on the damn thing, but it still baffles me occasionally. It's got, when you buy it, it comes with 32 presets. You tune it similar to this, but what you have to do with the theremin is you have to press a button and you have to stand back and move your arms and tune it electronically. But the trouble is that the Moog brought it out. It's the typical thing when a marketing department get hold of a piece of technology and tell you it will make the tea, butter the toast. You know, they said anyone can play the theremin now. You know, it wasn't quite that easy. But what happened with it was it had, in the presets, a lot of the presets had pitch correction in them and weird scales. And obviously you can only get a weird scale if you've got pitch correction in. So you'd switch from, you know, I mean, most people know do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, whatever, you know, and can hum. But scales, you know, if you're non-musical, you just bought an instrument, that's going to annoy you. So I discovered how to switch all that stuff off. So it was always in the chromatic scale. So it was just that, you know. They're about 400 quid. Ether Wave, I think that's about 800 quid. These now, they're not that expensive really when you compare it to some synths. When I bought this it was 1400 quid and the stand is almost more expensive. The stand was 300 quid, but it looks nice. Now there's one on Reverb, which is a second-hand kits for 2.5, including the stand. So we think 2,000 were made. We're not entirely sure how many. Any other questions? Oh yeah, what's the other piece that's got a theremin in it? Yeah, I told you Davey has stood still and films. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it's a chromatic scale, but it's a continuous frequency, isn't it?
Well, you change you change the pitch, so you're changing.
You're changing the pitch, but it's a continuous curve.
Yeah,
so
it is a glissando from there to there.
Yeah, so you can play any notes within that octave.
Yeah.
3 octaves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can get
any pitch.
8.
On the microtones.
If I move really slowly, I can go right. The problem is.
You obviously do because it's the same as like a string on a violin.
Yeah, it's like a trombone. You know, you slide.
Trombone,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's the nearest. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing. So when you switch it to the you showed us that quantized thing, or you know. So what's that doing? Is that putting it in there like
That's forcing the sound to the nearest note, but it's what it thinks is the note you're trying to play. So it could go up or down from that point. So it's not.
And that's in a 12-tone equal temperament scale.
Unfortunately, I don't know. I think it's forcing it into.
Yeah, just go across the scale, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it's forcing it into chromatic.
Yeah,
You can program it to use different scales, but that's too much for my wee little brain. I just, you know.
Have you tried any of the original instruments first?
No, the nearest. Lydia has this thing called a T-Vox. Her husband, who's also Russian, they actually live in Radley, just outside Oxford. And her husband started building theremins called T-Voxes. And they're it's a white box about that big, about that. Sounds amazing. Very similar to the early theremins. And they looked into manufacturing, which is too damn expensive. You know, to go from them knocking them out in your garage to production line is a huge, huge leap.
What's the stylophone one like? Is that
Yeah.
just one area on it?
It's a bit of a joke, really.
Yeah, I've tried it.
I tried one at Rough Trade had them in for a while.
It's a waste of time, isn't it?
Yeah. There is a thing called, if I can pronounce it right, a matrim. It's basically a Russian doll, and the Japanese are big into it, and it's pitch only, and there is a record for over 100 of these things simultaneously playing Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. It is a record for the most number of theremins being played simultaneously, but they're about that big, and you can get them. There's a huge theremin presence in Tokyo. There's a theremin orchestra with about a dozen players, and they do events and stuff. We do events. We have workshops every Sunday with Lydia Kavanagh. This week, Sunday is going to be about expression. You can get, depending on how quickly you bring your hand out of the volume antenna, you can create, feel. my playing is very instinctive. It's just what is in me coming out. I can only explain it like that way. I was originally a sound engineer, worked in radio and in recording studios, and I think I was always a frustrated musician, but I never took to anything. Tried guitar, tried drums, tried trumpet. But this, we just clicked somehow. And it's, whilst you don't touch it, for me it's quite an intimate experience, because you're part of a, I'll just go out and hug a tree now, you're part of a big energy field, and you're in it. And I can sense it. So I feel I can sense it. I'm probably, probably not really that, but I just do what I feel like doing at the time. I've developed a small technique. I showed you that thing. I started to do this, just move. I keep my hands flat, it's more comfortable for me. So I can just by moving that finger, because if I try to move my fingers separately, they'll move together, old age or something. So I'll play a piece for you now. This, as I say, was based on Biko. I tried to create the drum riff from Biko. Any other questions? Does anyone want to have a go?
God, yeah.
If you can stagger around here, you're welcome to.
Never done it in my life, no. But
Can I just introduce Roy Palmer, by the way?
Sorry, yes. My stage name. I'm doing more gigs, and so I've come up with a stage name. Because somebody goes, well, you can't just keep yourself scored so that. So I actually call myself Proximity Effect.
Well, that's very good.
There are some cards around somewhere. But, you're welcome to, if I can find them, hand them around later. Oh, hang on. There we go. So nothing I've done has been released yet. Sort of escaped. So, yeah.
there's probably about 10 other people that want to go as well.
Oh yeah, everybody's
Got
got
there
them.
first.
How not to play a theremin coming up?
So John Altwig does play one, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I've met John. He uses it for effect because he does crazy horses.
That's right, yeah.
Is he still in Nottingham or?
He does live in Nottingham, yeah.
Have you come across Winter Garden? Or Winter
No.
Garden, Marble Machine Blow? You can come across the Marble Machine. Anyone else come across the Marble Machine? They use the theremin. They do basically Swiss chocolate boxes of the music box sounding music.
Yeah,
Of which they use the theremin.
there's a friend of mine, Sash, she lives in Birmingham in Manchester. She does microtonal Indian music with her theremin, and she gave a really amazing talk on it.
I can imagine that'd be good with
Yeah.
Indian music.
Because obviously a lot of the problem is it got this tarred with this rush of sci-fi. You know, everybody thought, oh, it's ghostly, it's sci-fi, it's weird, you know, and it's the typical press thing of, oh, you know, theremins are only for sci-fi. When of course you can play pretty much anything on it. There is a guy. A few years ago, I don't know how it happened, I ended up doing a talk at Synthfest in Sheffield, and Lydia was kind enough to play. But there was a guy there with, it's to do with Ableton, so you have to have the fully blown version of Ableton, and you control it with a phone and a watch. And I think one is pitch and one is volume. And the guy said, oh, you know, have a go, and I went, he couldn't believe, you know, because obviously I'm used to this, what I was doing. Do you want to try and fly around here?
Yeah, I'm going to I'll do this for 20 seconds then, if that. It's going to be absolutely useless.
No, but the great thing with theremin
Just
is,
volume and pitch, that's
you can let people have a go because you don't touch it. It's not like handing your £10,000,
No.
you know, straight over your
Right,
so put your hand flat,
Yeah,
so completely flat.
That's volume,
Right, so
yeah.
that's volume. So the closer you are, the quieter.
yeah,
This one here,
and that's pitch.
that's pitch. So
Right, so, and you can go 360 degrees around that.
well, the easiest thing is to go to and from you. So if you actually
Yeah.
bend,
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah,
it's probably a
Okay.
bit like that. So lift your left hand.
oh yes, that's
Keep going.
that's zero volume, isn't it? So low. Oh, anyone can play a third.
Yeah. I had all these paperwork, I had all these people coming over and having a go. And what was so funny was watching people's faces light up. Because they would be that side, I'd be this side.
Never done this.
And they just go, you know, chin hitting floor moments. Let me give you something funky to try, okay? Yeah, just got that hand down. Right, try that.
Oh, is that you got the quantize on it?
No, this is just lots of delay.
Forbidden
So
play.
if you start there, have no volume.
Good stop with the
So
sci-fi
no-
references.
So it's like, dun,
It's not
stop. It's probably me that's.
Right, we get some else on there, yeah.
But what you can do is if I can change that. So depending on how quick. In a good day, I play the delay. There was something I was trying to do the other day which nearly worked, which is
Where's Steve?
Pink Floyd fans everywhere, hang on. You can almost get one of these days bad demonstration, I do apologise. It's half some time. Right, who else wants to go? You,
That's brilliant.
yeah.
Someone else in the room, isn't it?
Oh,
Just a little one,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've got some that's all right.
but I love sharing it. It's
Hawkwind you got, haven't they?
it's changed my life.
Yeah,
Hang
yeah.
on.
Okay.
As if you left that slightly.
Yeah, because this is
So you know I said, you just move your hands about 3 inches away. You know I said we're now part of the energy field. Watch this. Hang on, keep your hands still.
right.
So we now become part of the field.
Does it sound different if you're only 2 and 4 hat on your players?
Never tried it. I'll try that tomorrow. It can. Some players where I have, if I've been in a shit mood, pardon my French, and really just, not feeling it, it will not play. It will just not sound great. It's really weird. And playing at Pathwick, because it's a steam engine, as the steam builds up in the room, it changes.
I was going to
So I have to retune it.
it's how much you sweat affected.
Yeah.
Heat as well.
Your clothing, I mean, there are people who will say clothing, where you
Chicky
stand.
bow, that's why you.
Yeah,
That's
it's
one
I mean, well, if I stand, you're supposed to keep fairly still. I can't do that, I goof around, so. Okay, so I'm standing here. It's changed it marginally, it's very hard to know, but. And then obviously you can play it with your head. If you want to. So what I do sometimes. Get a bit silly. You got the clangers. Or the sick dragon. You can play. You can create all sorts of. So you are totally interacting with this field. Come on, who else wants to go?
Oh,
Go on.
So what was it? Tin foil on your hands, what was that really?
I've never tried it. I have played it. This is just how nerdy I am. You can throw me out in a minute. I have a replica lightsaber, and I've played it with that, which is a neon tube with light, and it makes with the and everything. It's just really silly. So hand flat. This hand there. Ready?
Yeah,
I'll give you the normal sound. So hand up, and then. So I can give you a bit more.
What are you squeezing there?
And again. Let's give you a bit of funkiness.
I saw you do that earlier.
It's just a bit short and shoot. I used to wake my arms up a bit.
It is a strange experience.
There's a girl I did some improv with who's based in Germany, and she does this. So this. Can you actually feel it though? It's a bit like static electricity.
Yeah, I'm not going to buy into your illusion.
It's my illusion I keep to it.
Thank you.
Really far too much recreational products when I was younger. Who wants some another go? Come on, somebody.
And it's a non-go really, because you're not touching anything.
This is the problem. There is no guide to where the notes are. You feel it, and after a while, I think my body and my arms and my brain, well, whatever passes for my brain, finds it
Yeah.
somehow.
It's the ultimate muscle memory, isn't it?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, Lydia, she says what she does is she can hear the note before you can and adjust very quickly as she's playing. I kind of fit in with what I've got going on in Ableton because it's easier to play with something. Believe it or not, the hardest thing to do is play with another theremin because you don't know if it's you or them. Because they sound so, yeah, it's always them. It's always them the same tune, you know. So when you've got 29 of them playing together,
How close are they when you have what's the close? If you had another theremin in this room to jam with, where would it have to be?
probably where the gentleman there is.
Right, okay.
I mean, I have had them closer. The big problem is you need a really good grounding, earth. It depends on it, because it's got RF, and you effectively are, according to the thing I read, to make sure I knew how this damn thing worked, whilst it's an electromagnetic field, the capacitance of your body is what affects it, and the fact that you are providing an earth-ish. That's what it says in the book. The other thing is that since then somebody said, oh, what's a heterodyning oscillator? And I went, oh, no, I had to go and look it up. And this is those two oscillators blended. I mean, it's like, the Moog Model D has 3 oscillators. Yeah, and you can select square, sine, so this has got 2. So if I wanted to, I haven't yet really started creating my own sounds. What I've done is adjusted sounds. And it's a bit like the stuff in Ableton. I start goofing around with effects and stuff on it. So there's another piece, remember your password. I'm not looking at it.
Put this on place for it.
Footsteps.
It's a silent place, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Well, you can see why it got the sci-fi thing. So this is I did this at the sci-fi at the steampunk event last weekend. This was the beginning piece. Sorry, no, not that one. Name this voice.
No one would have believed last year's the human affairs would be lost. No one would have believed the sons of the microscope studies creatures that swore. Human had even considered the possibility of life on other planets. And yet, across the gulf of space, minds immeasurably superior to ours, regarded as heard endless highs. Slowly, surely,
if you want to have a look at something interesting, I mentioned the theremin earlier, she's still by. There's a Austrian lady from Graz, same place as Arnold, and she played a theremin at the CERN Hadron Collector down underground, and it's on YouTube. It's well worth looking up. She has no technique whatsoever. If you ask her, she says, I don't have any technique. But she's also played with, I think it's Danish, disco guy, and done some really weird stuff as well. But she did a piece where she took the various theremins and had them played by a moving sculptor in New York. So as it floated past, it created sounds and recorded those, put pieces together. So my original time I was at Papua with this, I put this next to the beam engine and to one of the pistons. So as it, a 150-year-old steam engine played a 100-year-old theremin, which was quite cool. And I've also, this is very strange, I know, put it in the garden by the willow tree, and as the leaves blow past, you get some wonderful, quite eerie sounds. And then if you hook it up to the delay and to MIDI, you can. What works nicely on MIDI is arpeggiation. If you've got an arpeggiator going in, say, Model 15 app, I can start it and stop it in different places, and that works quite cool as well. So as I say,
have you got that route to go, the audio going back into Labelton? Or is that
no, I run it straight into,
channel?
yeah, I run it, I have tried it, because as I say, I do a lot of, I record a lot of stuff I do, and I just do it live, I just do it straight to stereo, because that's how I was brought up. When I worked in radio, we just recorded stuff straight to stereo. But yeah, there is, I can, if I had another box of tricks, I just need another interface,
Right.
then I could record this onto a track in Ableton, and as I do a live improv, record everything on
Then you'll be
separate
able to
tracks.
have the Ableton effects.
Yeah, I have done it.
Control,
I did a track. Oh, what was it? I didn't actually get around to recording it, but I used the auto panner,
Right.
but didn't move it too far.
Just a little bit of that, that makes all the difference.
It was like vibrato, but and then some. Yeah.
Absolutely little.
So I'm still, learning this thing and finding out what I can and can't do with it. I have created sound in the theremin, but it's a pain in the arse to do. Because you mess around with the, I mean, you guys, for the analog synthesizer, you get a nice sound and you touch the filter and it just disappears in its own bottom, and then you try and find that sound again, and yeah. And it's that interaction between, yeah.
Is the white plastic mobile 400 quid, is it?
Yeah, yeah. That is still available. I run a Facebook group to help people program it. I'm open for offers. No, I give people free lessons. I've had people from all over the world say, how do I get this damn thing to work? And I demystify it and go back to basics, which is to switch off all the weird scales and stuff, so that you do that whatever sound. Because it's like there are certain people. There's myths, isn't there, about certain synths, and there are myths about certain theremins. And one of the myths with the theremin is, it only works like that when you use the theremin preset, and it works in all things. The theremin it got a firmware upgrade within a couple of years, which added a lot of bells and whistles. And the main thing was, when you tune it to the room, you have to stand by it, press the button, and it tells you to step back, move your arms up. You do all that, and then you press another button, and you get fine control. So like this control I was messing around on here to tune, you get the same thing with the theremin, which opened it up as a more serious musician's instrument. A lot of people slag it off and say, no, it's not a theremin. But as a friend of mine said, well, it walks like a duck, it talks like a duck. How can you...
It's got a nicer, fuller sound than the theremin. I don't know, the theremin does sound a bit weak.
It depends what you do with it.
Okay, but your sound is really full.
Well, this is my main thing now. It's got such a, it's got that, it feels like, well, the theremin is an animo synth.
I think the BBD helps massively because of the delay. I don't know how to make a BBD delay. They all sound fantastic.
Yeah, it's just so, I didn't do it tonight because it just didn't have time, but I can, left on my own device in front of me, I can get a heartbeat. I've done a heartbeat. Takes a bit of, getting that.
You see, you have to build an entire tune with that, wouldn't you?
Sorry?
You should be able to build an entire tune with that.
You can, yeah. I have done, I've done, there's 4 videos on my YouTube channel, and one is just using the delay. One is using the loop. One is using the MIDI. And I can't remember what I did with the other one. I think the other one was backing stuff, But it's got a very different feel, because obviously, when it's like keys on a keyboard, you play a lovely beaten old piano with wooden, old keys that the elephant smoked itself to death, and you've got that rattling and that wooden feel. That just feels so different to a plastic kit. For me, this, I know it's like bullshit, but I feel, I feel it. I genuinely feel at one with this. It may not be the most, I can't remember, one of the guys in Tangerine Green, didn't they, said they weren't a musician. They said they were a sound.
Brian Eno said that.
Yeah. And that's how I feel. I'm getting more melody and stuff like that, and moving on, not away from ambient completely, but into something much more rhythmic. But I'll drift back to where my wife likes to call it spa music.
My wife calls mine shit music. So
Yeah. Well, she's learning to play the piano at the moment. When you've heard all of the Mountain King played badly 20 times in a row, yeah, you want to take an axe to the piano.
That's why I haven't. I've only flipped my wife. You're learning about barking.
Well, yeah. Well, I tried to learn the Borax and Arco. And I kept losing the I could do, was it? I couldn't get the same note twice back at the bottom. It just didn't work for me. I mean, people go on about, is it Star Trek, which is... It's just a scale. But I can't play it. Of course you can. Yeah. Right, so on the YouTube, just get your hands in a position. So that's volume.
And then that's...
Yeah, so lift that up. Just bring this one back. Now try instead of bringing it back like that, try bringing it up.
Okay, bend it there.
Yeah.
It's really odd to coordinate that.
Yeah. Well, it's like patting your head while you're rubbing your stomach while you're having a shower.
Going away seems counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Going towards the sound, words make more
I'm
sense.
thinking it seems like it's the wrong way around.
It's weird for you to do with the theremin. When you set the parameters, you can do it upside down, and it just goes nuts. What we're learning at the
I
weekend
don't
is-
think I'd be happy the other way around because the brain.
Well, this is
That
an
hand
argument
does
that-
pitch, that
yeah.
does rhythm.
Yeah,
On everything
on
else.
the guitar, it's completely the other way around. Try it, if you do something funky. So just try this. Keep your hand there. Close the sound down. Now bring it up and then back down. Now just keep that hand still. Bring the sound up. Now again. 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 Now this is the one that I really like, which is
Any kind of pitch though, it's
yeah.
just
So just this is like a dolphin. So use your hand as if it's the mouth of a dolphin. Come on. So just do that. My grandkids absolutely love it. I mean, they're only tiny, so they're like this. The way their hands up here.
so that's a Scooby filter, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a ring modulator. Or it's,
okay.
yeah, I don't know. It's,
Yeah,
there's a lot of.
you get similar
That was a
with
piece that I found. I thought.
kind of the anti-wire,
Yeah, yeah.
where it's a notch that gives that vocal
You
shape.
can set the frequency, the filter to track. So obviously it works with the pitch. I mean, what is a nice one to try, actually, quite easy. So stick your hand there again. So this is wind. So what I want you to
Oh, this
imagine
is
is
the noise.
you're pushing a cloud in the air. And just keep that hand at a set level. So just imagine you're wafting the wind.
Oh, lovely. Finish on that. There we go. I want to finish on one of those.
I mean, the only thing with the MIDI side of it is
Oh, it's confusing.
the MIDI, the mute switch doesn't mute the MIDI out.
Oh, that's
So that's really annoying. So you have to break the
That's
cable
a pain in the
over
arse,
or grab the fader. Yeah. Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, anybody can have a go, honestly. Yeah, just watch your footage.
It's
Fly over the stage.
volumes get down as you get closer to it.
Yeah.
I'm being here for 3 years.
So that hand about there. This hand, so basically as this hand moves away, you get a higher pitch.
One of them is a WAV
Bring it away.
I haven't got the stems for it, but the other one I have the stems. So one of those is channel 1. So yeah, I haven't played it for 6 years. So yeah, what can go wrong? Absolutely nothing.
Try this, okay? So put your hand flat on, so there's no volume. So that hand there, this hand's about there. I want you to go in a straight line away, like in 3 inch intervals. So keep it nice and still. Bring that hand up and down.
It's very rushing across the page.
Just keep it still, so up and down. And straight down. Now again. Down. Again. That's how you can sort of release the sound. That's effectively what you're doing with the left hand is you're letting the sound out. You can control how that comes out or how quickly you move your hand. If you use this as a sound, it's got a lot more delay. Try that. Once you get tuned to the timer, you can actually like create But you can do this, you can almost.
I can see something like that when you do it.
You take over and play a high note on top of that. Just fade out after a while. You lower notes, it's not easy. Try that. Just so you get the So just keep going now but if you do this very quickly, you can get just sliding up a bit and then add a high note each time. Another go? Start with the nice.
Yeah, just to the left and right. You've got some chance of Jack there. Yeah, yeah. Is everyone else there? What's the dude at the front? Yeah, what's his act called? Freaky Bob, isn't it? Yeah, well, I'm only going to be 20 minutes. Yeah.
For hours.
that mode box in the middle, that comes with it, does it? That oscillator thing? Yeah, the thing you've got your hand on.
That is the theremin.
Yes, that's all enclosed, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what, about £2,000 or something for the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, as I say, there's one I know for sale at the moment, which is £2,500. That's this and the stand.
Yeah.
And allegedly it hasn't even been taken out of the box.
Okay. So with those copper ones, that style, they all come with that oscillator box.
Well, the problem is you can't get this anymore new.
Yeah.
But all theremins have the brass antenna.
Yeah. Has to be
box
brass.
with an oscillator, well, two oscillators effectively in it.
Yeah.
So, whereas the theremin is the one that is all digital, and it's a chip inside with all the stuff programmed in it.
Okay. No, my friend, she got a daughter one. I think she's got the £400 one.
The theremin.
That's the theremin, the white thing, yeah.
Well, if you see her, and if she's struggling with it, I have a Facebook group called Theremin People.
Yeah.
And there's a load of tutorials on there that I've done.
She's Bristol based. I don't know how far she's got there.
Well, I'm happy to meet people online.
Yeah. No, I'll.
Yeah.
I took a couple of clips of you actually.
Oh, cheers for that.
You're welcome.
Interesting. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.